Welcome back to the channel. I'm Fausto Carnevale, Italian accountant, and in this video we'll explain the number one strategy to invest in Italy with the real estate. I decided to do this video because we have a lot of requests about retiring in Italy, a lot of requests about moving to Europe, especially from people from the United States or Canada. Even if there are some disadvantages, as I explained in the last video that I invite you to watch. It was a very successful video regarding the type of source of income to avoid. This video could be called actually the sources of income that you have to look for. So in this video, I already talked about buying a house in Italy, Airbnb, but you don't even imagine what is the best strategy when you rent an apartment. So before watching this video, I will invite you to, first of all, then have a double check with your accountant, which also can be me. So if you want to book a consulting call, the link is below. But in this video, I try to explain the overall strategy. Of course, then if you need a specific calculation, we also create specific solutions and we can create a file Excel. So, cedolare secca. Cedolare secca, actually, it's a word in Italian, but maybe you don't even know what it means. Let's translate in flat tax for renting an apartment. So basically, as you know, in Italy there is a way to rent an apartment with a flat tax. Because in general, if you buy an apartment and you want to rent it, you need to pay actually a lot of taxes, especially if you have already, and this is always the case if you are moving from the United States, if you have already a high salary and high pension. So if you buy an apartment to rent, you will pay more or less 45% of taxes, so the highest tax bracket. But with the cedolare secca, you will pay the 21% flat tax. If you rent an apartment for these categories, so A1, A11, meaning that you cannot buy a villa and rent a villa. That's actually the case that we see, but also quite common. You can buy an apartment and rent it to the students. In fact, I remember also back in the days when I was studying in Pescara. Pescara actually is one of the best cities to move in Italy. By the way, Abruzzo, I'm from Abruzzo, I love Abruzzo. And maybe I will, when I will be back in mid-January, I will also do one video from there to show you around a little bit. Because actually I will talk in this channel about real estate in Italy and the strategy to investments in Italy. But actually I wanted to show you something. So 15th of January, I will be back in Italy, working from there for 3 weeks, so I will show you around. So let's say, here you have, for these categories, so you can, those are apartments, and no attività economica, no economic activity. So you cannot rent an office to, I don't know, a company. No, you have to rent an apartment for private use. The best way is to rent an apartment to students. You know, you buy an apartment, let's say 80 square meter, you have 3 rooms and they pay you 200 per room, let's say, or even more in Italy, 300 or 500, and that's it. You can also have a 10% flat tax if you rent to a canone concordato, meaning that if you are in a specific area, and there is a list of municipalities that I will put in the description, you can have also 10%. Now, here we have to pay attention to the contract. So, meaning that you have to also look for this strategy, canone concordato. I will be happy to talk about it if you then need a specific consulting call. But actually, this is the strategy. And this is also the best strategy that I am creating now for a client. Maybe this client, I'm not making names, but maybe she is looking at me. The situation is that she is retiring. She has public pensions, private pension, annuity, bonds. She closed the LLC that she has in the States. And she told me, how can I invest in Italy? This is one good strategy. Next week, I will talk maybe a little bit more in detail about the Airbnb strategy. If you want a specific region to invest, because you know now if you buy a house in Milan, the prices are skyrocketing. So if you are looking for an investment to rent, to make a rent, maybe the best city is like a medium city like Ancona, Pescara, Bologna, it's one of the best city because the prices are not super high like Milan or Rome, and you can find a good apartment. So this is the strategy. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me at info@esentaxa.com.